Good evening, Sam in the spot. And I'm one YouTuber that is not afraid to say the word that a lot of black YouTubers do not say, whether they're afraid to say it because, they think that a lot of black women are going to disown them. And I mean, that word is patriarchy. Patriarchy, patriarchy, fucking patriarchy. You know, I just got finished listening to SWP's video on the way home titled Patriarchy in the Vacuum. And, a lot of the topics that he spoke on were on fucking point. I agree 100% because, you see the black men that are looked at as alpha males in the black community. And, a lot of these black men tend to be, the thugs and the fucking have-nots and, the guys who are just unwilling to do shit, the Jodies, as my man Minister Jap calls them, the dirty dick Rodneys, the Ray Ray and Pookies, the Deshawns and the LaShawns and the Keishawns and, these motherfuckers are the ones who are viewed by black women as, the alpha males. But, my problem is with the educated brothers, they don't have any cutthroat about them. They don't have the confidence about them. And then you got a lot of the simp guys that's out there. You got a lot of the hotep guys, the African dashiki wearing guys, the bean pie selling guys, which, honestly, the bean pie selling guys have a little more patriarchy in their community versus, a lot of these guys who study Christianity. You see these guys with the Jesus pieces on and, their fucking tattoos with the Bible verses and shit all on their arm. And, only God can judge me and, this, but there's no accountability. And, this type of shit turns a lot of fucking women on. These are the same guys, like Saw said, like the same guys who are on these fucking videos and doing these concerts and they're calling women bitches and hoes. And these same women are the ones who get on the dance floor and the ones who go to the concert. I mean, look, I'm like this. You like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how I grew up about it. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, you like it, I love it. But I'm still going to keep my sense of integrity when it comes down to educating myself and understanding how this fucking society works. But, the theory that a lot of black women choose subordinate men to basically mate with and have their kids with, and then they end up single mothers or they end up getting out of the relationship, and they base all black men on this premise that these black men are weak, they're incompetent, and they're just not able, or they just don't have the cutthroat about them to compete against other races of fucking men. And I mean, the vast majority of black men, they aren't able to compete with a lot of other races of men out there. You know what I'm saying? But there's a small few of us who actually can. And I mean, can just do a damn well better job with it. And, even when it comes down to black men like myself, a lot of the women, it's always like, that comparability when it comes down to competing, especially if you're in, an establishment that is controlled by a white group of people, So that is one of the reasons why I stopped fucking with Dr. Boyce Watkins as well. Because, like SWP said, a lot of these fucking, people who follow Boyce Watkins, they don't really get the meat. They don't really get the substance. They always get this shit about, we need to take and get our own business and, stop working for the white man. And there's never a level of accountability on both sides. But basically, the man does his job and the female does her job, like other races of fucking men and women do. And I mean, that's just right on point because, when you look at the Mexican community and you look at the Somalian community, the Arab community, the Asian community, I don't know if I said that, but, these different communities where you have a lot of women, who will play the subordinate role as long as her husband is maintaining that fucking infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to the black community, I mean, it's true. Look at the black community as a whole. You have a slew of fucking weak-minded black men, you know, who are just sexually overconfident, and then at the same time, you know, it's like they fall on their ass, they get locked up in jail, mama, all of this shit, and then, you know, they have the females out there, you know, they're getting the females pregnant, and then it's like, well, all of a sudden, you know, motherfucker, you ain't shit, nigga. You know, you can't compete against, you know, the motherfucking white man, nigga. You ain't shit. You can't compete against the Asian man and all of this. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's like the women, they have no accountability for the men that they fucking choose. So it's like, well, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And this is why a lot of fucking brothers are just fucking tired. You know? I mean, I mentioned this in a lot of other videos where even some of the thugs, like when they wake up and they get older and shit, you know, they understand how patriarchy works, but then when they look around the slew of black women that are out there, it's like these women ain't really, you know, they're not really worth shit. I mean, but you can't blame them because as black men, you know, we need to take and have the foundation laid. And a lot of motherfuckers ain't doing it. And then going back to the men that a lot of these women choose, you know, I mean, and I don't really have any problem with it. I just want to see a lot of black men have accountability. Like I said, I got a lot of cousins. I got brothers in the street. Hell, I was even in the street. You know, but my biggest thing was, you know, will this fuck me up as far as getting an education? What if, you know, I end up getting locked up and I need to get a job? You know, I need to take and make sure my shit is balanced. And luckily I did. And a lot of guys who I grew up with, you know, they like, yeah, man, you was right, man. You know, I mean, I wasn't no Trey from fucking, what is the name of that movie? Boys in the Hood or anything like that. You know, like, I mean, I did my fair share of fucking dirt out there as well. But I also educated myself at the same time. And I would always try to educate, you know, my partners. But a lot of these guys, they were stuck in the trend, you know, which is basically plastered over the media, which is controlled by white men. And it became the norm. And I mean, it's even gotten worse right now. Other races of fucking men, you know, other races, period, they look at black communities as, you know, the new trend of what is cool, you know, what is hip. You know, I got me a black friend, I'm cool, that type of shit. But when it comes down to, you know, maintaining their infrastructure and building their resources and, you know, making sure that everything is in order under their patriarchal establishment and, you know, the matriarchy is there to nurture the children and, you know, make sure that knowledge is put inside of the kids to understand how the world works. It's not there when it comes down to the black community. And a lot of sisters, they get mad about this shit. You know, they don't want to hear it. Like, they want to support feminism, which really doesn't have any place at all in the black community. You know, feminism has no place in Asian communities, Arab communities. I go on and on. You only see the slew of baby mamas in impoverished communities. I mean, I even have friends in the Philippines. Same shit. I know a couple of girls in the Philippines who are raising their kid or their children by themselves. Where do they live? In a fucking impoverished community. You know? Like, I mean, another thing that he said, which made perfect sense, and, you know, it's based on the way you were raised. Like, if you come from an establishment where you have a father in the house, the father owns the business, and, you know, you have the mother that's there that's basically supporting the family as well, and, you know, she has her matriarchal role, he has his patriarchal role, you know, she's not going to take and vote Democrat like a lot of black women do. I mean, even with me, it was like, you know, growing up under my grandmother and under my mom, you know, under that single mother shit, and I would look at the politicians, and based on the way we were living, it seemed logical to vote Democrat when I was much younger, you know, especially living in a impoverished community and shit, you know, where the Democrats would always fund certain type of programs for, you know, the black community. Whereas the Republicans, it's more like, look, we need to take more accountability for our actions. We need to be more conservative with our shit. And a lot of business owners will vote Republican because they don't want to pay these heavy taxes to support the rest of the world, the rest of the community and shit. You know, they want to take and build their own community. And, you know, it's just like, damn. You know, of course this fucking woman. I mean, I have an aunt, my mom's younger sister. Her uncle runs his own pest control shop, pest control company. You know, he started off working for Orkin back when he was much younger, when he was like in his teens and 20s. Eventually, you know, when he got in his 30s, he started his own small business, and now he's expanded his business where he's doing warehouses and, you know, commercial industrial buildings and getting rats and, you know, snakes and, you know, various types of bees, you know, and birds. Like, he's removing pests from warehouses that, you know, produce goods and foods and shit like that. Has like 3 huge, humongous houses out in California. They vote Republican. You know, like, what sense does it make for them to vote Democrat? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, even with me as a single black man who, you know, takes accountability for his own actions and shit, like, what the fuck do I look like voting Democrat? I mean, granted, I voted for Obama, you know, hoping that, you know, black people would start to understand, you know, a little bit of how the world works, and then, you know, just to see some man of color, somebody of color for once in the White House. Yeah, I voted. But did I vote for this last election? Hell no. You know, like, I couldn't see myself voting for either one, especially Hillary Clinton. I mean, Hillary Clinton would have been the last person that I would have voted for. In fact, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton would have been the last. But if I had to choose one of the two, then it would probably be Donald Trump. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't bring myself to vote for Donald Trump either. You know, so when he did win and, you know, I went back to work the next day, all of the girls were like, did you vote for Donald Trump? Because if you did, I can't be your friend anymore. You know, well, why the fuck would you vote Democrat? You know, especially if you are a single black mother and you don't have any kids at all. You know, why would you want an exuberant amount of taxes being deducted from your paycheck? You know, why would you want, you know, a system that's going to bring you and your community down as a group of people further and further down the hole? You know, Asian communities, Arab communities, like, they don't constantly vote Democrat. Even like the Latinos, like, you know, let Rubio have gotten a chance to, you know, win, you know, the primaries and shit like that. You know, you'd have had a slew of Hispanics that would have switched over and voted Republican, because majority of them understand how this shit operates, how the world works, and, you know, they would have basically supported their own. You know what I'm saying? But let somebody like Ben Carson would have won the primaries, and then all of a sudden it would have been like, oh, well, you know, we're still under this patriarchy if we vote for him, you know, like, we gotta rock too, feminism rules, you know. I'm like, okay, you know, those other races of people, like, they understand how it works. You know, the black women out here, it's just a sad situation. I mean, look at the ghetto. You know? Like, the ghetto isn't ran by a fucking patriarchy. The ghetto isn't ran by, you know, strong, independent, hard-working black men. These men all come from fucking single mothers. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, it's like, you know, these same guys, you know, whether they become rappers, whether they become, like, high-level D-boys and shit like that, what do? They leave the community. There's a small percentage of them that's like, well, you know what, I need to start up my own business and bring the money back to the community. I mean, after they've sucked the community high and dry, like me and my boy, like, we had a conversation riding around in his car, you know, while he's smoking his dro, while smoking his kush, and, you know, hollering at the different geeks and stuff out there. I'm riding and I'm telling them, like, you know what, like, you always talk about, you know, the government and how the government is giving Arabs all of this money to take and have their stores in the community. I mean, don't you think, like, you know, you just as bad? You know, I mean, you talk about how when you get rich, you want to buy you a rich, nice ass house in Galena, or Hilliard or some shit like that. But at the same time, you're doing the same thing that the Arabs are doing. This is your community. You're putting drugs into your own community. And then after it's all said and done, you want to leave the community high and dry and take your money and put it in another group of people's establishment. You know what I mean? Like, nigga, how pompous is that? I mean, even with the Arabs, like what they do, they take and go down to the hood, start up their stores, and then they go out and, leave the community, bring the resources back to, their community, whether they stay around a group of white people or like Dearborn, Michigan, they have their own community where, they're able to have their own police officers and their own plumbers, like Chinatown. They're able to have their own school systems and, their own temples and churches and things like that. Their own mosque and all of that shit, right? Black people, like, we just don't have it set up that kind of way. And then, you wonder why a lot of educated black men, like, they look at black women as being ratchet or as, basically showing another group of people more respect than their own group of people, than their own men. Like, they'll show the lowest of the low of the black men respect because, at the end of the day, these black women know that those guys are subordinate. Like, they cannot economically compete with the Somalian group of people, like me and my homeboy again, like we was riding around and we saw this Somalian guy come out of this Arab store and he had this old school Jerry curl in his head, like he had Activate in his head. And, when he pointed it out, like we both started laughing and he said, yeah, I bet you, he probably, if he saw us laughing, he'd probably say, well, my people run this country. Like not him as an individual, but him as a group. You know what I'm saying? As a group of Somalians, which, like I said before, like, when that Somali lady car breaks down, she's not going to call a white tow truck. She's not going to call a black tow truck. Like there's too many of those out there. No, what she's going to do, she's going to call the Somalian tow truck company, and, to come and pick up her car and bring her car home and keep the money within her community. And she is going to be supportive of the Somalian men in, that community. And even with their religion, with the Muslim religion, they are more disciplined. I see little girls out here all the time who, wear their hijabs. You never see their hair. You never, ever, ever see what their hair looks like. You just always see them with that robe on. A little 5-year-old girl that I know, she always wears it. I've never seen what her hair looks still to this day. Like, they are very disciplined. The Asian girls that I know, like even Kim's daughter, like they are very, very disciplined. And then the black girls out here, like they running around ratchet, picking around, picking on the other kids and shit. All the mothers are, upset, don't want, the kids coming around their kids to play. And, when you look at the household that they come from, it's a fucked up household. Even, I know this one girl, like I've never seen the baby's fucking father. This girl is still pregnant, like her belly is fucking out there. And she has a daughter who just fucks around with all of the kids in their area, in the neighborhood. This fucking girl has to be about maybe 10, 11 years old. She's always wearing spandex, tight-ass clothes and shit. She's constantly fucking with all the other kids. Every time we see her, she wearing these high-ass boy shorts taking out the trash. And it's like, damn, there's no accountability whatsoever. And no one in the neighborhood has ever even seen the baby's father. And then, she's always screaming at the girl, get your ass inside. I heard what the fuck you did. Yeah. And she's going to grow up just like that. Like I tell Kim, like that girl is going to get pregnant by the time she's fucking 15, 16, because already, like, there's nobody in the house constructing that house and making sure that she has someone to, make her feel like a princess so she understands how to act as a fucking woman. You know what I'm saying? It's not out there. And then you got, the bombardment of, trap music and all of that shit, which I haven't even no problem with trap music. I have no problem with these motherfuckers, talking about what they talk about. It's how they say it. There's no art in it. There's no intricate words. There's no metaphors. Like, other races of people, they have sucked the art out of the black community dry. They've taken away rock and roll, they've taken away jazz, and the greatness of hip hop has been fucking drained. I mean, just look at Eminem. You can name a couple other white rappers and shit out there. Like, they've sucked it dry. And all the black ones that's out there, on some Slim Thug type shit, Everybody's on, some fucking weak-ass trap music and mumble rap. There's no education involved. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least, back in the day, you had guys who took pride in their music. That's not like that anymore. And, these guys are just constantly de-educated, and a lot of the black women support the shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, wow. I mean, even with me, like, I got trap songs. I got songs where I talk about different things, but you will never, ever, ever hear me slack up when it comes down to the art and the creativity. Like, I will never slack up even when it comes down to the education. I mean, 20 years ago, Nas would be considered a trap artist. Wu-Tang, Biggie, like, these were guys who actually thought about some of the things that they say. Like, 20 years ago, even Jay-Z. Jay-Z would be considered a trap artist. I mean, it's a major difference. And these guys were educated to a certain degree. Even though a lot of these guys did come from matriarchal backgrounds, there was still some accountability when it came down to their creativity. But like I say, the media that's controlled by the white establishment, it just fucks up everything, that we have to take and have any type of pride about. And speaking of pride, it's like, now all of a sudden it's like, you got these guys that's out there, oh, my beautiful black queen, black queen, black queen, this, and then these women are looking at these niggas like they fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't give you the same type of respect as they give other fucking races of people. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, it's sad. It's just totally fucking sad, man. Something else I just wanted to say, but I just got a little sidetracked. But, my mom was like, your fucking homeboy talking about Donald Trump. Your fucking homeboy, he's racist, and he's stopping all the other groups of people from coming over here to America, like in Yemen and Somalia and, other Islamic places. And then you got motherfuckers like Napoleon on YouTube, he's on Vlad TV talking about, oh yes, the Islamic community is, a community of peace, and we're not violent. It's the Al Qaeda, it's the Islamic extremists and shit. I mean, it's to say, like, these Muslims, like, to a vast degree, like, do they really give a fuck about Napoleon? Yes, because I'm a humble Muslim now, which honestly, man, I give the Muslim community more respect than I do Christians, because Christians, like, there's far, far less accountability. These motherfuckers think they can just go down and, on their knees and pray, or go down to the church and, sing a couple hymns, and then all of a sudden they can go out and just do whatever the hell that they want to do. You know what I'm saying? There's no discipline at all when it comes down to it. But at least with the Muslim community, there's more discipline involved. There's more accountability. Like, you can't drink, you can't put, any harsh liquor or any chemicals or anything that's going to alter your mind inside of the temple. You have to pray to the east 5 times a day. You have to go through Ramadan. None of this shit happens in Christianity. None of it at all. And I mean, the vast majority of black women strongly support Christianity and will not fuck with you if you do not support Christianity. But then, when you look at their personal lives, it's like, God damn, I mean, you're supposed to be, wow. My grandfather is a pastor, and me and him, we have debates on certain things. We debate about certain things that he should be telling the congregation. You know, like you got this church in the middle of the black community, you know, which is basically surrounded by black women, and 95% of your congregation is black women. But he's like Boyce Watkins, like he won't talk about how black men, they need the support, these kids, these black boys, like they need to learn how to compete against other fucking men of other races out here economically, and in that way, you can grow up, you can start calling the shots like a lot of these other fucking guys. Like I went to a party, one of my Arab partners, I went to a party he has this big ass house, and like he has like 5 fancy cars and shit, you know what I'm saying? His family owns like a lot of corner stores and shit. When I get back there, it's like, some of the baddest black females back there. It's like about maybe 4 or 5 of them. And the rest was just packed with, just beautiful, exotic, Hispanic, and Arab women. And I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Because the money is there. Like when you have a lot of money and resources and shit, yeah, it's associated with beautiful women. And I mean, I immediately saw it. Like, not one overweight female around the pool at all. None whatsoever. And because these women are like this, like they understand, like I gotta keep my sexy up if I gotta get a man with money. But then you got the black women who are out there that are like, oh, well, he has to accept me for who I am, for how I am. And it's like, well, damn, man. I mean, that black man right there, he got his shit together. I mean, even with these fucking rap videos that you guys fucking sit there and play and pump and shit. I mean, look at how a lot of these fucking black women are on these videos. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I'll tell you one girl right now. My homegirl Kwame Russo on Instagram. Like she plays basketball, she lifts weights, and she got a bad body. Like the majority of the guys who she fuck with are white men. Why? Because the white men have, their shit together. They have the money, they have the power, they have the resources. But then when she goes over to that white side, like she gets her act together. Like she understands, like, okay, I gotta keep my sexy up. I gotta take and make sure that, I'm ladylike. I can't be on any of this fucking ratchet shit, in order for me to reap the benefits of this establishment. And that's why a lot of white women are mad and upset with her. You dig? They don't like that shit. It's the same thing whenever a black man gets his shit together, he becomes an NFL player, pro football player. All of a sudden, it's like, he goes out and he dates, the light-skinned woman, with the long, pervy hair, or he goes with the white girl or the Asian girl and shit like that, And especially if he's an intelligent brother, like that's what he does, you know what I'm saying? And, a lot of black women, they just don't understand this shit. They don't see it. Like, they really think that feminism is going to support them. Like, we can't even afford to deal with feminism, but they want to associate themselves with it. It's just like a lot of the black gay men out there. Whenever they sort themselves in a group, it's always gay first. It's never black first. You know what I'm saying? It's always gay first. It's just like a lot of these biracial celebrities that are out there. With Alicia Keys, you ask Halle Berry, Alicia Keys, and all these biracial black women, what do they say first? Oh, I'm Italian and African American. Oh, my mom was Korean and my dad was black. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I ran on this shit all day long, bruh. But, a lot of fucking women just need to get with the fucking program. Sure, you're not teaching your sons, hey, you need to learn engineering. You need to learn, how to construct your own business. And, all of you little boys out here, you guys need to take and get your money together so that you can control your own corner shops and, have your own, restaurants and, things of that nature in your own community. They're not being taught this shit. They're being taught to leave the community and go to someone else's community and pay taxes there. where you look at like places in Minnesota where Somalians are establishing their own communities, getting their own politicians, getting their own police officers, to patrol their own area, so they can keep other races of people out. You know what I'm saying? And it's fucked up too, man. It is just terrible, bro. Like those other races understand how the system works. We as a people don't. And then like, I'm just as exhausted as any other black YouTuber who, comes up with, these types of topics. Like, we sit here and we're like, well, damn, what the fuck we gonna do about it? Like, are we going to, just cop out, or we're just gonna just say, you know what? Let's go ahead and just, leave the shit alone, because it's almost like a lose-lose situation when you have this type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you hear a lot of the black women, they talk about like, black men are hard to find, and I hope I find me a guy that validates me, and like their mindset when it comes down to the order of how the world works is just not there. And then you got a guy like me who can sit down and I could talk to an Asian girl, and like she understands like how her system is structured, and then she only would fuck with me if I had my system structured, and that's what it is. I've always mentioned about my homeboy who owns like 3 pet shops, black guy, and he has a Korean wife. He has his shit together. But if he didn't have his shit together and his shit was not structured, no, she wouldn't fuck with him. Not at all. I know Asian, girls from the lower end as well, the black communities, and, they were, raised around a lot of black people. Their father was on drugs real bad, and, left their mother single with 3 small Asian kids to take and raise, and then she grew up fucking around with a lot of black guys, like her black girlfriends and shit, and then she chose the lowest of the low of the black guys because that's who her friends were fucking with, and then she got tired of that shit, but luckily she didn't have a baby with any of these guys, but then she found her a man of her own race. She found a Cambodian of her own kind. Cambodian guy, much older than her, like maybe, I don't know, like 12 years older than her. And, now they have a happy family. And I've also seen Asian girls who have fucked around with, they've done it reverse. Like they had one fucking guy who was Cambodian, had the first kid by her, and then the 3rd and 4th kid was by the black guy. She didn't fuck around with the first guy, and by the way, she was raised in the same community, single mom as well, daddy on crack, so when she grew up, it was the same shit. It was all about, the latest black trend, the latest black rapper, and, she has, this liking for blacks, but then, her mom took her to the temple, she met up with a nerdy Cambodian guy, and she didn't think that he was cool enough, but, they got a baby together. He was lucky enough to get him some, and, she kind of like kicked him to the curb because he wasn't cool enough, met up with the black guy. All of a sudden, now she has 2 kids, raising the kids by herself and shit. You know what I'm saying? And now he's going off fucking with other women and shit, and, left her as a single mother getting food stamps. You know what I'm saying? Like, it definitely has something to do with the economy and how you are raised and, your willingness to take and move up to the next level. You know what I'm saying? But, I understand how a lot of black women are, like, they want to control shit because they're used to being in control. They're used to seeing their parents in control, so they're going to choose, a man who's like, well, no, I can't say nothing, man, because, my old lady, she pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? But if he ran that household, he can be like, look, shut up. Shut the fuck up. And that's how women are. I can't tell you how many single mothers I have spoken to where they even said, like, my baby daddy used to be like, bitch, shut the fuck up. And I sit down and I shut up. You know what I'm saying? That's patriarchy. It's patriarchy in that aspect without the power and economics and resources to support the family. But, it goes without saying. A lot of black educated brothers, they don't have that cutthroat about them. They don't have that confidence about them. They don't have the alpha maleness about them and shit. And that's what pisses me off with a lot of, like, you know, the fucking Carltons and the Steve Urkels that are out there. You know, and what do they do? Like, they fuck around and they decide to go and mess around with Asian and white girls and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I know why, because, you know, a lot of black women just wasn't fucking looking at them like that and picking on them and shit, picking with them, you know, picking them when they were going to fucking school and all. I mean, we have these conversations a lot. And it's going to take them to come back and, you know, talk to these black men, you know, in the streets. You know, just like how, you know, the smart Asians can go and talk to the triads. And, you know, the Mexicans, you know, they can go and talk to the M13s, you know, and tell them, hey, you know, we got to get this shit together, compadre. We can't be like this, you know. That's why the Chinatown is thriving so much, because you can have, like, the street thugs and the triads who they don't even dress like gangsters. I mean, I mentioned this in another video, too. Like, a lot of those gangsters, you know, in other communities, especially on the high end, you don't see them. Even back in the day, they didn't dress like pimps and shit. You know, they dressed in casual business attire. You know, the mob, the Italian mob, you know, the triads. You know, these motherfuckers had that shit together. But with the black community, it's like the D-boys who make the highest end of the resources. You know, it's just all about that fitty cap, them J's and shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they just think that, you know, it's just all about the outlook and all about being cool. Just like how a lot of black people, you know, they get that reputation. Like, you know, you guys rather look cool first and win second. You know, we like to win first and then lose second. You know, that's what other races say. You know, we rather look good second. You know, like, they don't worry about the outside of the car as long as the fucking engine is running. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I can't understand how a lot of black women support it. You know, they just do not support the shit. And it's because they live in the lower class. You know, a lot of them live in the middle class. And, you know, with that being said, they can associate themselves with the Democratic Party, which advocates gun control, you know, and, you know, especially when you got black men getting shot up by the police and, you know, they're killing each other out in the streets. And, you know, you got the black mamas like, I don't want no guns in this house. You know, I even went through that shit. I was like, shit, look, mama, I be goddamn, you know what I'm saying? These guns are fucking staying. And I told my grandmother this shit, like, when I was fucking, like, 20. Like, yeah, I got guns in the house, and they ain't going nowhere. You know what the hell is going on outside? These motherfucking guns aren't going anywhere. You know, like, how could you not, you know, support, you know, one of the things that makes America fucking great, the right to bear arms. Why the hell not? You know, the democratic system has always been fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it took me even a while to realize that shit as I started to get older. I mean, I realized that shit when Obama, you know, got into office. Like, I really, really understood it. Because when Clinton was in office, I was a little too young to understand, but I seen the shit around me. I seen a lot of black men getting locked up, going to jail, motherfuckers getting killed and shit. When Bush came, like, my money was straight. As a single black man, like, I had no problem. Barack Obama came in, it was like, oh, brother, what the hell is going on? And then everybody's like, well, you know, Bush sucked America dry, and, you know, Obama had to come and clean up the pieces. But at the same time, like, he de-educated a lot of black people. You know, like, it's all right to, you know, come in with a low, you know, a low treasury, you know what I'm saying, with the, you know, a deficit, you know, that basically has us in recession. But damn, man, you know, what's up with the people? But then you got to understand again, too, Obama came from a white woman, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even though, like, he even affiliated himself with patriarchy because, not patriarchy, with matriarchy, hence Michelle Obama. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, that's why a lot of black women, they argue, they get mad. Like, my mom, like, every time when I say something about Obama, she wants to get in an argument. She starts to raise her fucking voice. You know, and because Obama co-signs for Hillary Clinton, and all of a sudden it's okay. Like, this is the same fucking woman who, you know, she was even a fucking Republican who supported Nixon. When you got a guy like Bernie Sanders who fought for black people all throughout the civil rights era, was even arrested for it and shit. Hillary Clinton didn't give a fuck about niggas, but this is who they're voting for, you know? So, shit, the black woman shit, bro, with the whole matriarchy agenda, I'm not going for it, you know? You know, and other races of men, they're not going for it when these women talk about hopping the fence. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just true. I guarantee you these black women, when they go over there, they're going to get their shit together. And then they're like, ha, ha, ha. You know, I ain't with the white guy. Like, who gives a fuck? You know? Like, you wanted your cake and eat it too. Like, you know, you associate a lot of stand-up, well-to-do black men as the losers who you were sexually attracted to. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? Plain and fucking simple. You know, like but you know, you got a guy like me who understands it from every diameter and, you know, all perspectives of it, and, you know, going into the game just, you know, playing, not even playing the role, but just being that guy. And it's like, damn, you know, it's like, wow, you know, do I really want to fucking take it to this level? Nah, I don't want to take it to this fucking level, man. Let me go ahead and just kind of like chill, fall back. Like, you know, being too nice even, man, that shit will fuck you up. That shit will fuck you up with a lot of these women, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I gotta, like, my whole circle is like half and half. Half of these niggas are like street niggas, you know? And then the other half is like educated brothers. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like, even with that, like, one side cannot get in tune with the other side of black men. You know, they got, you know, the educated brothers who understand, you know, how patriarchy works, and, you know, they, some of them are maintaining their homes and their wives understand how patriarchy works. But then you got the street thugs, they on this, like, support baby mama shit. Like, go to my video where I have the single mother discussion part 1 and single mother discussion part 2. You know what I'm saying? These are niggas in the street that I'm talking to. And then, like, the fucked up part about it is these two guys don't even have any children. No children at all. You know, and they're sitting here, like, you know, supporting this shit. Like, you know, black women, like, you gotta take me for everything that I have, you know. You gotta take me and my kids. You know, I don't have to take you, you know what I'm saying? All them, you know, fine. You know, and then, you know, oh, I seen you with that fucking Asian bitch. I'm like, okay. You know, okay. And that's why, I mean, they put the stigma on niggas bad, bruh. Bad, man. Real bad. It fucking sucks. And then, you know, it's like, you know, like, even what Saw said, it's like, you know, they tell motherfucking black men, man up, be a man, you know what I'm saying? But then, you know, they want to fucking, you know, have these subordinate type of fucking men. You know, the Jodies and shit, you know, like the baby boy from Jody, the baby boy, you know? You know, man up, you gotta get out the house. You gotta get a fucking job. But that's not what you chose these motherfucking men for. You know what I'm saying? You chose them for their sexual prowess. You know, you chose them because of their fucking abs and, you know, their mandingo, muscular, football, basketball playing fucking bodies, and, you know, just the fact that they can beat the pussy up. And that's what you chose these niggas for, man. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, look back at the fucking ghetto. You know, man, look at the black community. You know? So, I don't know, man. Like, you know, we know. You know what I'm saying? I did a video yesterday or this morning, you know, where I talk about how the world is changing, and black men, you know, they just don't think on that level. Everybody is just, you know, thinking that they're the shit. Everybody want to fucking be more than what they are. Everybody trying to get a name out here. You know, niggas ain't really who they fucking say they are. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the real niggas just get pushed to the fucking side, man. And, you know, like, you guys will see. You guys will see. So I'm kind of hoping Donald Trump stay his ass in office, man. Like, got a lot of people, you know, like, systematically trying to impeach him and all that shit, man. I hope the nigga stay in office, man. You know what I'm saying? For real. I don't care who hates that shit, because I know how pressure builds, you know? Like the same pressure that we put on coal makes a diamond. And that's why I want him to constantly stay in there. Because like when the heat is on and the pressure's there, everything else will just start opening up. But this shit is crazy. Like you got so many copycats out here, and you know, black women is just, you know, co-signing to this shit. You know, weak ass black men. You know, and they have an argument when they talk about that shit. You know, like you got a lot of black women who, you know, they brag about their fucking education and brag about their fucking degrees and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, especially with the black women who don't have any children, single black women, that's the first fucking argument that they'll fucking put out there. Is like, black men don't have their shit together and I ain't got my degrees and you know? And then like, who do they support? Like they support the weak end of the fucking black men, and you know what I'm saying? Like I see what it is. I see exactly what that shit is, man. But I mean, just know, this for all of the sisters out there, man. Just know, like, there's gonna be a shortage and shit. Like the older you get, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to fucking start dating down. You know? So I mean, patriarchy works in other fucking communities. You know what I'm saying? But it's just sad, like. I mean, I miss boy. I'm still like, I be thinking about a lot of my videos, man. I got some shit on these videos. I said that shit before. I know I mentioned that shit in one of them these videos that I did. You know, just go back and just peep me out, man. But nah, I mean, going back to like all of the black YouTubers, you know, they got a lot of them that like really fucking, I ain't gonna say they disgust me, but you know, I just don't like the fact that a lot of them are being heard and shit, like when, you know, they just talk about how, you know, this is the state of the black community and what we're in, you know, how we're, but they never talk about, you know, why it's the way it is. You know, just talking to, you know, a lot of these motherfucking street niggas out there, all they want to talk about is, you know, black man, you know, we suffering. White man don't give a fuck about us. Look at all these motherfucking, you know, other races coming in here, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I have to ask them, like, when did this shit all start? Like, you know, let's go back when black people did have their shit together. When, you know, it was the educated brothers and shit who were calling the shots, and, you know, all the street thugs were ran out of the community. Where did we go wrong? You know, because even after slavery, a lot of black people were sharecroppers. Women got with the program. I mean, just go back and look at a lot of slave stories and shit. You know, read some books. Read Bullwhip Days, you know, which was written by black slaves. You know, even Roots, you know, go back and read some of these fucking stories, you know, and examine, like, you know, even during the fucking World War One and World War Two, like black men had their own businesses all the way through, you know, the 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, my great grandfather was one of them. You know, like the businesses were all there. Black communities were thriving. Losers were ran the fuck out. You know, and you know, we still couldn't insinuate with, you know, American society because of segregation. But I mean, just take a look at how women got with the fucking program. You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, I mean, if it wasn't for integration, like we would probably still be on that shit. Other races like Somalians and other communities, they don't come here to insinuate. The vast majority of them, and even the ones who do come to assimilate, they don't, you know, fully assimilate. You know, they go back to their communities, to their homes, to their families and shit. They may make money like the Somalians, the few Somalians that you see at a lot of these corporate environments. Yeah, sure, they may work there, but, you know, they bring the resources back to their fucking community. They're not stupid. You know what I'm saying? They are still supported by their community on all levels. Shit, man. Where's the fucking support, man? Fuck. Man, let me go ahead and end this video, man. I'm getting frustrated, bro. You guys be cool. Sam. Peace.